my specialty is the bride walks in with her dress on wedding day, and that's all she does. Noah answers the phone and starts crying. And there's a person on the other end, and they're like, I'm giving you $10,000. The exact amount we had just said. I want to say we did 13, 14, maybe 15 weddings back to back. The event and wedding industry is not what it used to be. And so one of the things is that the industry in general, sadly, is not set up for the bride or the event, the person who's throwing the event, to succeed. If you don't have a coordinator, someone is going to end up being your coordinator.
Yeah. Please don't make it your maid of honor either.
I haven't seen a wedding for less than $30, $35K in a long time.
All right, welcome back to the Brand Builders Podcast. My name is Darren, the host. Today we have Katie Grace, a co-host, on the mic with me, and Kendra Duke Designs. How's it going, Kendra?
Hey, it's going great.
So I know you're involved in a lot of different things. So kind of tell us what it is exactly that you do.
Yeah. Okay. Kendra Duke Design is a wedding and event company. So wedding planning, wedding design, decor. I kind of feel like my niche here in Abilene has become weddings, although I do other things. I posted today about like a Christmas party we did, and so we do all kinds of things, but mainly what it has become is really focusing on weddings. And my specialty is, the verbiage I always use is the bride walks in with her dress on wedding day, and that's all she does. So in a perfect world, that's what happens. Yeah. So my husband, Noah Duke, is a contractor. So builds, remodels, that kind of thing. And we got married over 10 years ago, and his dream was to always live downtown. In my mind, that was not downtown Abilene.
Where y'all are now?
Yeah.
You're like, that's not downtown.
Well, and I just thought like downtown. I was like, no telling where we'll be, you know, like
this is awesome.
Dallas or Fort Worth or Austin or whatever. And then when we were first married, our like date night thing that we would do is we would walk around downtown. And at the time, over 10 years ago, you know, half the buildings are empty. And we would just literally look in the windows is all we did. And dream about what a space could be.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so
y'all both were like visionary like that?
Yeah, we are.
That's
we
so
are.
cool.
I would say so, yeah. And one day Noah called me, and maybe we had been married for like 2-3 years, and was like, hey, I found a building downtown that we have never seen. And I was like, I grew up here. I don't, whatever, you know. And he was like, no, for sure. Like, at the time, Soda District had just kind of started being revitalized. And he was like, it's in the Soda District. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's possible. And he was like, and there's trees. I was like, what? There's trees? And
Downtown.
He was like, yes, there's like 6 or 7 trees at this downtown building. And I was like, okay. Again, in my mind, when we're saying we're going to live downtown, it's somewhere else. So I was like, okay. So we go by and look at it. And I was like, you're right. I've never seen this building before. Like, I wonder who owns it, yada-da. I can't remember how we found out who owns it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we just looked it up, the taxes or something like that. Anyways, we found out that it was, Noah called me one day and was like, hey, some guy named David Cranfill owns the building. I was like, I know David Cranfill. I used to go to church with him. And so, anyways, that was probably like on a Saturday. The next day, we're at church, and at the time we went to Beltway, and I walk into the sanctuary, pull the door open, this little kid runs out, and I haven't seen the Cranfields in 10, 15 years. This little kid runs out, and I was like, that looks like a Cranfield kid. And I just thought to myself, like, wouldn't that be crazy if Noah was sitting beside them? Because he doesn't even know who they are, you know? And the night before, he was like, some guy named David Cranfield owns this building. And so I walk in, and sure enough, they're sitting right behind us.
Oh, that's so crazy.
And so I get into like right beside Noah. I'm like, that's David Granville. And he was like, what? I was like, yes, that's David Granville.
Aww.
So we talked to him afterwards, and anyways, he was like, well, I'll show it to you, but just so you know, like, this artist has already talked to me about buying the building, living upstairs, turning it into a studio downstairs, which would have been super cool. And I was like, but we have better ideas, so sell it to us. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We had no idea at the time what we were going to do with it.
Do a bid.
Yeah. And I was working in, like, the next few weeks the next week I was working in California. And so we were kind of trying to, like, maybe get him something on a whim, if this was even what we were supposed to be doing. I have no idea. And so he calls us while we're in California, and he's like, hey, just so you know, this lady took an offer, and I'm going to take it. I just, I know you guys. I love y'all, so I just wanted to let you know. And Noah, on a whim, just tells him a number. Didn't even, like, he's looking at me, and he's just like, oh, no. He was like, if I can give you an offer on Monday, would you just wait? And he was like, sure. And this is, like, Wednesday. We're in California. We haven't talked to a bank yet.
Lots of leaps
here.
here.
Yeah.
Lots of
And
leaps
he's just
here.
like confidently like, if I give you an offer on Monday, I'm like, how are we going to give him an offer on Monday? We hadn't even talked to a bank. So anyway, Monday rolls around. Obviously, we're in another state on Wednesday. Like, there's no way we could get him an offer in. Anyway, so he calls him on Monday. He's like, hey, I will get you something on Wednesday. We just started talking to bank. He's like, yeah, Wednesday's fine. So Tuesday night, we were talking about it. And, we're newlyweds. The loan we could get versus what we think maybe this other lady was offering, we just didn't know. And Noah was like, obviously we felt like the Lord told us to buy this building, but we were also this logical side of our brain of like, but also like we're also called to be financially wise and like not go into a lot of debt. And so what does that look like? And so we were like, in order for us to feel better about it, we really need another 10 grand cash. And so we just kind of had thought like, and that's that, money's money. Like, and if it's there, it's there. And if it's not, it's not. And so I go into the kitchen, Noah gets a phone call, and I knew someone on the other line had given us money. I just knew it. Like, I just felt it in my spirit.
That's crazy.
That what happened. And Noah answers the phone and starts crying. And there's a person on the other end, and they're like, I'm giving you $10,000. The exact amount we had just said. Yeah.
Won't he do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up buying the property downtown.
Wow.
And we have
And
renovated
it is
it now.
outstanding.
Yes, we've renovated it now, and
So
there's
cool.
Airbnbs upstairs, event space / living space downstairs, and then that's where we run our businesses out of. So office space / storage / event / housing.
So are y'all living
/
upstairs or downstairs?
We live
or-
downstairs.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Uh-huh,
We
yes.
went to an event, and I was like trying to picture. I was like, this is like where her kids play. Is like where we're playing music right now,
Yeah,
and then just like watching. It was so cool. I love that.
Yeah. So
Y'all are so creative, and how cool God gave y'all that vision, and it was like boom, 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 boom.
Okay, so you have the house, you have the things, you have the business. How have you gone about marketing your business and promoting your business? Like, what does that look like for you?
yeah, absolutely. So obviously social media, doing a lot of social media aspects of it. And then as far as Airbnb goes, like it's on Airbnb, and Airbnb handles a lot of that, which I highly recommend. I know that like boutique stays are super popular right now, and a lot of times boutique stays, although they are listed on Airbnb, are also kind of their own entity. Like you can book off site, and that's kind of how we have marketed things as a boutique stay. But we haven't dove into complete like off of Airbnb. So currently we just do Airbnb. We love it. They handle a lot of stuff for us. Could you make more money off doing it off Airbnb? Maybe.
Yeah.
But the way we have it set up right now, and like Dallas, Austin, they're seeing a lot of city legislation kind of coming up against them for different zonings and different things like that. And so
Like you can't put a tent in your alley
yeah.
and list it for $200.
Well,
I swear, we stayed in a place, it
Yeah.
wasn't a tent, but I was like, we're literally in an alley. Like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
going to die
hilarious.
tonight.
Yeah.
But we
And some
paid
of
like
it could be-
$300.
Some of it could be safety thing, but honestly, it's not. It's about
Yes,
money.
Yes.
And the hotels don't like Airbnbs.
yeah.
You know, and so
Well,
if
Abilene
they
needs
can,
it all now.
Yes, yeah. Well, and for a long time, like Lubbock is oversaturated with Airbnbs. Abilene was a little bit becoming that way, and so with anything, right, you have to find your niche and find what are you selling, you know, and are you selling what a million other people are, and if so, is your thing better?
Yeah, is it set apart?
You know, is it set apart? And
Yeah.
so it's like, well, we could have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it could be the bombest in town. But if there's a million others, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we do like smaller stays. So that's kind of our niche is 1-bedroom, 2 bedrooms. Because in Abilene, if you are booking an Airbnb and you're looking, like 3 2s are what everyone is doing. And so, and we knew that before we even started, like we need to find a niche. What are we going to be good at? And so that's kind of what we decided was the smaller stays. And so that's what we do. And I feel like the same with events or weddings or construction of like figuring out what you are doing and then doing it well.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like, do you have the grit to get it done? Yes. But also, and are you working hard enough? Yes. But if you can do that, because a lot of people aren't even willing to do it. They're not even willing to work at it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, if I added up the number of sleepless nights where I just didn't go to bed, you know, and are other people willing to do that? And what I found is like, they're not, you know? Yeah. But not only are you willing to hustle and get it done, but if you can pair that with a level of excellence,
Yes.
you're unstoppable.
Yep, absolutely. And everything that you've touched, like we've only been here for like 7 years, but I saw your stuff pretty immediately because, you know, college age friends start meeting people and they start getting married and you just see like, oh, like Kendra's my wedding planner. Oh, Kendra's my wedding planner. And it's like you do your events and everything with such a level of excellence that when we're talking about like content creating and marketing, I feel like it's so, and I don't want to say it's easy for you, but when you've put in all the work on the back end, like marketing is, it just does it.
Yeah.
Because like people come and they're like, oh my gosh, who did this?
Well, and you had asked about the marketing piece and getting your name out there. And in Abilene anyways, and obviously every market is so different, but in Abilene, it is still word of mouth. It's word of mouth for Noah. It's word of mouth for me. Even Airbnbs. Well, people message us through Airbnb and say, my friend told me, and that's how they got it. Like, yeah, our like, if you were to Google like wedding planner Abilene, Texas, it's not like my name doesn't pop up. Or if you're like searching 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom on Airbnb, ours are popping up. Like we're still doing all the things.
Yeah.
But even so, because our market in Abilene is unique, you still have to do the word of mouth thing along with the other things. And you know, like we do weddings in Austin, DFW,
I was gonna
Lubbock,
ask
Midland,
that.
Odessa.
Wow.
And a lot of times, like if I'm getting an inquiry from Austin, they're like, I saw you on social media, or I saw you because you were tagged in something from my venue or whatever. So like I'm still getting a lot of people that are coming through my funnel through not traditional marketing, but yeah. But in Abilene, a lot of it is word of mouth. I would say should say in West Texas.
So how many events have you had going on at one time? What is the most that you've been able to handle that's all going on at the same time?
Too many. I think I did a couple years ago. I want to say we did 13, 14, maybe 15 weddings back to back. Just boom, boom, boom.
So
boom,
like
boom,
back
boom,
to
boom.
back to back,
Weekend
after weekend
yeah.
after weekend.
And I have learned a lot. So obviously when I'm first starting out, saying yes is just a big part of it. And absolutely throw yourself in. Like your naivety takes you a long way, but eventually you're not naive anymore.
Yeah.
It's so, but now, so I've been doing wedding planning for like 8-9 years. And so now, 3 weddings a month is what I can do. I won't do any more than that. But then even then, if I can pick and choose, like sometimes that's like 3 small weddings, maybe that's 1 big wedding, 2 small weddings. But in a perfect world, if I can pick and choose, which I'm getting to that point where I can,
That's
which is
awesome.
amazing, it would be 2 big weddings a month. That's kind of like, sweet spot.
Okay, so just like for the viewers and people, there's a lot of people like me that are like, oh my gosh, I want to do this event or I want to do this, and I think I can do it all on my own. What are the benefits of hiring a Kendra?
Yeah.
For the people that think that we
Sure.
have a Pinterest board and we're like,
Yeah.
we can do that. But
Yeah.
really working with you, like,
Yeah.
what are the benefits with that?
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things I'll say is that the event and wedding industry is not what it used to be. And so one of the things is that the industry in general, sadly, is not set up for the bride or the event, the person who's throwing the event, to succeed. And that's just a sad reality. And some of that is money. Some of that is just what things have morphed into. Like, I mean, you're about to have a 1-year-old, and probably your 1-year-old birthday party looked a little bit different than what your 1-year-old birthday party is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And so some of that is just like what it's morphed into. And in order for the vendors in the event world to meet expectations and to rise up to these, like, hey, here's my Pinterest board. Like, our moms didn't have a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
It's like, here's my Pinterest board. This is what I want to do. And in order to execute that with a little bit of creativity too, so you're not just copying what everyone else is doing, there's a price tag that comes along with that. There is a time amount that it just takes this much time to actually do what the client is wanting you to do.
Yeah.
But for example, on wedding day, to answer your question, let's say your venue lets you in at 9 a.m. until midnight. That's pretty normal. And maybe you can come in like at 8 or something for hair and makeup. Let's say 8 to midnight. And some venues are way less, but a lot of venues, 8 to midnight is your standard time frame. And you're like, I have until
all
midnight.
day.
I have all day. I can get this done.
Yeah.
And by the time you get there, and maybe you're running a little late because you always are, it's wedding day. So maybe you get there at like 8:30. And leading up to your wedding day, you're still thinking, oh, I have all day. And then you have 8 hours of photography, and you choose your ceremony start time, and you choose what time you want to exit, and you choose how much time you need at the end of the day to actually clean up. So maybe you're exiting at 10:30 so that you can actually start cleaning up at 11, and then you have a full hour to clean up. And then, so if you're exiting at 10:30, maybe that means your ceremony starting at 4:30 or 5. And then if your ceremony is starting at 4:30 or 5, then that means photography is starting at 12:30 or 1. And you're like, okay, let's say photography starts at 1. I need to be dressed and photo ready by 12:30. I need to get my hair done, which takes an hour, so that's 11:30. I need to get my makeup done, which takes an hour, so that's 10:30. And you're getting in at 8:30 a.m. So you have 2 hours to set up and decorate an entire wedding.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. With a team of people and a trailer,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's not enough. And so some of it is the industry is not set up to make the bride succeed, sadly. And some of it is what the bride wants to do cannot be done in 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a both. Like, weddings are luxury. No matter what scale your wedding is at. Back in the day, it was a nice wedding. You got married in a church, and you walked down the aisle, and you took some photos at the end, and everyone went to the reception hall and had cake, and there were tablecloths and
Punch.
and
punch.
that was nice. And that was nice, and that was
Yeah.
standard. If you had dinner, if you had a reception downtown, you were wealthy.
Wow.
Wealthy. And that is just the standard baseline level that everyone is doing now.
Yeah.
And so
At least.
Yeah. And so you have to understand that weddings in general in today's world are luxury.
Yeah. They look
Yeah.
like People magazine things.
Yeah.
Question: do you think social media has done that?
Oh yeah.
It
Social media,
influences us
Pinterest,
all.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You're like, oh, I
Yeah.
see them do that. I want that.
And some of it is amazing because it's like we've given the opportunity for anyone, if they want to have a wedding the way they want to have it, which is amazing because it's like before you didn't have the tools or there wasn't like a million DIY videos on YouTube. And so you were just kind of stuck with like, well, I don't know how to do this, so I'm just not going to. But now you have all the tools and everything so that anybody can do anything they want to do. But it also comes along with now everyone wants to do all of the things. And it's pretty rare that when I'm walking into a wedding day that most of your vendors are not professional vendors. And professional vendors come with a professional price tag.
Yeah.
And so every vendor is a couple grand plus.
Yeah.
You know, starting out at 2 going up, and you have a venue and you have cake, photographer, videographer, florist, photo booth, marquee lights, coffee cart, cake, catering, alcohol. I hadn't even mentioned DJ, and everything is multiple grand and up, and that's affordable. You know, like if you can get these vendors for a couple grand, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you
especially
add that
in our
all
area.
up.
You
Yeah.
leave Abilene and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I went to a wedding show when we were like planning because my mom and I
Yes.
and my mom's best friend like planned my wedding. And we went to a vendor show at a big barn in Weatherford.
Yeah.
And the first booth I walked up to, she was like, oh, I'm a photographer. She was like, my wedding packages start at 10 grand. And I was like, that's like my wedding budget. And
Yes.
that's like,
Yeah.
that was a lot for
Yeah.
us. And so we were like, that's like my whole everything.
Yeah.
And then we go to the florist and they were like, oh, our packages start at 5. And we
Yes.
were like,
Yeah.
and that's
Well-
like everybody gets a bouquet.
Yes, right. Well, and a lot of vendors in DFW, Austin, even Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, it's like they have a baseline starting point. And a lot of times they won't even work with you if you can't meet that. And
Yeah.
there's some good things about that and some bad things about that. You know, I would love to be able to work with every single bride that comes my way. But when you have the back end costs and you're like, in order for me to do several weddings a weekend, for example, a lot of florists do that, I have to have a team.
Yeah.
I have to
You gotta
team
pay your
multiple people.
team, yep.
And I have to be the designer and I have to be the one that does all of them. And then they're bringing it out. They're doing the installations. And it just comes with a price. And so there's definitely a reason why people do that for sure.
Hey, really quick, I wanted to let you guys know about a 5-day challenge. It's called 5-Day Build a Video Challenge that we put together exactly for you, because if you're watching this, you're probably an entrepreneur, a business person, or a creator who's looking to monetize. And so if that's you, there's going to be a link in the description. We're going to be going over all of the things that I've learned and took away over the last 4 or 5 years to figure out how to make content work for your business and not against your business. And so for us, this is how we get about 90% of our clients within our business, and it's 10x, sometimes 100x our engagement and views and even leads. Same exact thing goes for all of our clients. And so if you're interested in this, click the link below and apply today. There's only a limited number of spots because it is one-on-one. And so hope to see you in the challenge. Let's get back to the episode.
Weddings, I keep saying weddings are luxury, but if you are doing a wedding and all of your vendors are professional and you're having a 200 plus guest count and you're serving everyone dinner and you're having an open bar, all those things I just mentioned are standard. Like most people are doing all of those things.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting all of those things, and then on top of that, you're wanting a few bells and whistles, easily you can spend $75,000. Easily. You don't have to do that. But people are just not willing to not do that. They want to serve everyone dinner. They want to have the open bar. And they want to have it at a really nice venue. And then you start adding things on, and then you get yourself in a pickle, and you're like, well, I can't actually do this wedding I want to do. I have to rent the venue the day before too. And now your venue, which was already $8,000 or whatever, and renting it the day before, like maybe they give you a little bit of a deal, but they could book a wedding the day before.
Yeah, they could make another $8,000.
It's not much more of a deal.
Yeah.
And now your venue cost just doubled because you need the venue to do the day before in order to create the wedding that you have now wanted to create. And so it is crazy how fast wedding costs will add up, but you don't have to do that. In Abilene, I haven't seen a wedding for less than 35K in a long time.
Wow.
But
Hey, we did good.
That's not 75K, you know? And I also think like sometimes people will say, okay, my wedding was X amount of dollars. And I know who did their wedding, and I know where it was, and I'm just adding up the cost, and I'm like, that's not true. But sometimes it's like, you know, grandma pays for something, and someone else covers this, which is amazing. I love that. And then, like, the last month of your wedding, your bank account drains because of all these little things that you have to get.
I gotta go buy these table frames.
And it's $100 here, $200 here, $400 here. And then your aunts and uncles are covering a few things here and there. But if you were to truly add all of that into your wedding budget, which people don't do, but if you were, that number is a lot more than 30, 35.
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy. Well, okay, on this podcast a lot, we talk about highs and lows in business, and try to bring awareness to that, because we feel like most people just live in this world of like, oh, we're always doing like really great as business, and then there's like no slow seasons, and we're just like killing it. Why aren't you? And so Darren and I are like, hi, like there's actually businesses where we like have a hard time, and we're trying to start and push through all the things. So what do you feel like, you know, have you had any of those seasons? Has it been slow with weddings, like COVID? Like what in the world? How did you kind of navigate all that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel like sometimes business owners, it's not like we're trying to be dishonest, but a lot of it is like just the assumption of like, well, duh, you know. But when you're starting out and you don't know these things and no one really talks about those things, it's interesting. But like, you know, getting through the hard times and working really hard and having the grit, having the tenacity to actually stick through it and do just whatever it takes to make it happen. Yeah. Just most people at that level are not willing to do that.
Yep. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah. They're not willing to do that. But the business owners that are, we never talk about it because it's just like, well, didn't everybody do that? Yeah. It's part of the job. And other people get into it and they're like, wait a second. What? Yeah. You know, and you're like, dude, this is normal stuff. And I actually, like, growing up, my parents were business owners, and I had always said, like, I'm not going to do that. Because I saw how hard it was. Yeah. You know, like my parents had rental properties, and they would have to make ready, and they'd have to repaint and whatever else, and 3 kids sleeping on the ground in this rental property that night so that they could finish. Yeah. Like normal. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like totally normal. Yeah. And so, but those are hard times. You know, it's like that's tough. Like I didn't go to bed last night, and I have to work today. You know, it's not like I'm going to call in sick.
Like I'm kind of like running this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so me and Katie were talking about that earlier today. Like if I broke both of my legs and I couldn't work anymore, we would be screwed.
Yeah. I'll be calling Darren.
Like and that's a great point. Like we haven't even mentioned the risk.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And what that does to you, even just physically. But, you know, like risk, fear, anxiety, like all part of it, all normal. Yeah. And so I feel like that's one of the reasons why business owners don't just talk about it, because it's just like, well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there have been times where I've been like super stressed. For us, our slow time is November, December every year. Now that I figured that out, I can prepare in advance.
Yes.
The first year this happened, I was not prepared. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, payroll is coming out in 3 days, but I have to pay out $3,000 to my employees, but I don't have $3,000 to pay them. Just figuring out those types of things are stressful, but
Yes.
it's just a part of it.
And
like,
other people are probably hearing that, being like, "Oh my gosh!"
yeah,
But like every other business owners were like, "Yeah, Yeah.
we've been there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there multiple times." You know. And so our slow season for events is January, February, and then July and August. And so used to, again, I would even fill in those months with other things. And I still do. Like, I do some design work on the side. I know we were talking about earlier. We're like, what does on the side even mean anymore? We don't know.
We're just
Yeah.
all the sides.
We're all the sides, yeah. But
Every
we do
side.
some design work, like somebody needs
interior design?
Yeah, interior design, or I need help with X, Y, or Z. Do you do something like that? And when I have someone that wants me to do that, I will schedule that in January, February, or July and August. And so it kind of have some fill in. But honestly, even now where I am today, of like, I'm okay with letting that be a slow season and just taking that time off, even though I'm still meeting with clients.
good.
I just don't have an event that weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's a great question. And like, you know, there is like, there for sure is hard times, and how do you push through on that and keep going? I think it's like, if your business can get past like the 5-year range, then it's not smooth sailing from there, but pushing through
You've
to
learned
get
a
to
lot.
that point is
Not as
tough.
hard as year one.
Yes,
For
for sure.
So at this point in your career, you mentioned you kind of have the option to work with who you want. And I feel like that's a spot every business owner wants to be in. What would you say to the person who's trying to get there?
You have to say yes to a lot of people before you can get to that point. And I think that's just part of it, you know? I think you have to know once you have reached that point, and probably not try to reach it too quickly. But also like being honest with yourself about your capacity and able to still do a job with excellence. And so, I don't know. I don't know what my advice is. I guess just keep going, keep pushing through, and then trying to figure out like who your like kind of bread and butter client is.
It's important.
And I think everyone kind of struggles with trying to figure out who that is, and it's like you're saying yes or trying to do something because you're helping someone out, and then knowing in the back of your head, like, am I going to regret taking this event? Like, I know better. This isn't my bread and butter client. This isn't what I do necessarily, but you're trying to help somebody out and do it anyways. And they're still paying you, but you're like, this isn't actually my niche thing. This isn't what I do really well. I'm going to try to do it to help you out, or can you come and just do this part of the day? Or can you come and just decorate this or whatever? And it always, or this is my budget. Can you work with it? And then you're like, okay, this is what I can do for your budget, and they really need more. Are you going to offer it if you know they need more?
Yeah.
You know, I'm the professional. They're not the professional. You know, I know based off of what you're telling me, you need X, Y, and Z in order for it to go well.
Yeah.
And if I can't give them that, am
They
I just going to do
they
it
have
halfway?
an expectation,
Yeah.
and you can't.
And how do I?
Yeah,
it's not
for
right
sure.
for me to offer a service if I only know I can only do it halfway.
Yeah.
You know,
For
it's
sure.
like, it's actually not beneficial. A lot of people ask me if I do day of planning, and I don't. No one should. No one should do day of
Yeah.
planning.
What does that mean?
Essentially, a planner shows up on day of. The bride gives them everything to do. Not necessarily setting up and decorating, but like, hey, here's our plan. You just execute it so I don't have to.
But you have
That's
no
a
idea what you're
wonderful
walking
theory.
into.
That's a great theory, but most people, not everyone, but most people who are getting married have never been married before. So you expecting them to create a perfect event and hand it off to you? Bomb is going to explode in your hands. It is.
Yeah.
And you having a different expectation, it's not even the bride's fault. You having the expectation that the bomb's not going to explode in your hands, that's actually the problem.
Yeah.
And so the smallest package I do is month of coordinating, because me walking in to allow a bomb to explode in my hands doesn't help anyone.
No.
It makes it worse. They didn't know.
Then it's not fun for you.
The bride hasn't thought through the fact that she does not want a first look. Ceremony time starts at 6. Sunset is at 7.
Like ceremony.
They're going to have no pictures.
Yeah.
The sun's going to be gone down, and they haven't taken a single photo of the bride and groom.
And then they're like, oh crap. And everything on the day of, they got to rearrange everything.
We've done, so Darren and I, we learned very quickly that weddings, like, I think this is important too, realizing your giftings and being like, it's okay if I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. So I think when people think photo, video, they're like, oh, you're like a family photographer, wedding photographer. Like, they stress us out. Like, we've tried and we're like, heck yeah, like family or like a close friend. And
and it's like, you didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
You didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even mean for you to sign up for what it ends up being. But weddings are weddings are weddings. And people are like, oh, I'm chill. Oh, I'm simple. And I'm
until they get their files and they're like, oh, you did care about everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that price point, at least from a vendor's perspective, say we're going to film a wedding, do photos and videos. The big mistake that we have made is we don't charge enough.
Yes.
When you're first starting, obviously you have to do those things in order to get where you want to be. We show up the day of for these lower priced weddings, and we end up having to be the coordinator. We end up having to be the DJ, all of the above. Whenever we're just there to do the video.
I told Darren, I was like, I left that night and I was like, I feel like I could puke, fall over. And I never want to go to another wedding in my life. And it was like, we showed up and the ceremony was being like 45 minutes. And it was like, they needed Kendra. They needed Kendra so bad.
But I feel like that's also why a lot of vendors raise their prices too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with brides having certain priorities and spending their money in those areas.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. Everyone should do that. And if your priority isn't coordinating or having a smooth day and you want to spend it on flowers or the DJ, or you want the best catering price,
coffee,
open bar,
barley,
that is totally okay. But you have to know that, like, if you don't have a coordinator, someone is going to end up being your coordinator.
Yeah. Please don't make it your maid of honor either.
And usually that is the mom, the sister, the best friend, somebody who isn't a wedding planner
and
or
price
a coordinator.
Price point is huge because, you know, obviously you get what you pay for, but also, well, my brain just went somewhere else. I don't know.
It's okay. I squirrel all the time.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. Maybe I'll come back to that later.
A whole pack of squirrels in there.
Yeah, because that's kind of what we do for pricing now, because we don't do weddings really anymore. I don't promote it, but sometimes people will ask, and I'll just put out something crazy.
Oh no, we make it so outrageous that it's like, please don't book us. We just don't need to promote that we do that. Like, it's.
I don't promote it, but sometimes people will ask.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll just put out something crazy.
Well, but also, like, this is what I was going to say. The price point is huge because, like, I'll have somebody, and even, like, people reach out to me all the time. I want to work for you. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, here's a wedding. Here are the times I need you. Come in. And they never work a wedding with me again. And it's because weddings are crazy. They're insane, even when everything is planned down to a T.
Yeah.
And you're not going to sign up willingly the next weekend to do that again.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know?
A lot.
It's like, yeah, that was insane, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do the same thing again. Like, no way. No way. And so one problem that a lot of wedding vendors have, or event vendors, you know, events just in general are insane too, is that they're not priced correctly. And so they're like, it's not like it's not like there's a recipe and you know your ingredients and how much your ingredients cost, and then you're charging your labor for it. I mean, essentially that is what you're doing, but there's so many other things that you cannot control. Like, I don't know how many times I've been yelled at by a drunk person, but that has a price tag.
Yeah.
And it's high. I'm not going to sign up the next day to get yelled at again by a drunk person.
Yeah.
And that drunk person, that might have been the only time they got drunk all year. That might have been the only time they yelled at someone all year. But you know what? I'm doing that again next weekend. And somebody has another, I've never been drunk before, and I'm yelling again. And it's going to be at me. You know? And I'm like, who's going to sign up for that willingly every single weekend? There's a price tag that comes on it. And that has nothing to do with the bride. That has nothing to do with the groom. Hopefully, they don't even know that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whenever you first started, did you do much for free? How has your pricing structure grown throughout the years?
Yeah. Free, no.
Good.
I didn't. So I do think the event world is different because it's not like, oh, I'm going to give you an hour of my time. Yeah. If that was the case, absolutely.
No, it's like 10 p.m. You're thinking of this idea.
It's like if I were to add this up, I would be giving away $5,000. And would you give and maybe you're going to do it for a friend for free, but would that friend ever give you a gift for $5,000 on your wedding? No. And so some of that is like, well, you know, services and pricing and whatever, but even like $1,000, you know, and so it's hard to give away something for free when it's at such a high price, but for sure discounted for sure. But I don't know if I've ever done a wedding by myself. So I'm paying for other people to help come in, set up, decorate with me, help me get from point A to point B. There's 4 different locations. The groomsmen are getting married at one Airbnb. The bridesmaids are at another. The ceremony is one place. The reception's one place. Cocktail hour is at another. And I need a person to be at those places when vendors arrive.
Yeah.
To help them get set up. I need a person at the ceremony location making sure the bride and groom are walking down the aisle. I need somebody at the reception location when guests are arriving. And so it's hard to do that for free because so much is coming out of your pocket. I've broken even a lot. I've been in the hole a lot, for sure. But it is a different game.
That's awesome.
So did you just okay, how did you get started with all of this? Like, you said you were working a job and you were like in California. Were you doing design work, event planning, or like?
No, so so we got married, and then after we got married, people that were at our wedding or a friend, like I went to this wedding and I went to your wedding and my cousin's getting married and she saw photos, or somebody saw photos from online, somebody shared something and they're like, hey, my cousin went to your wedding, or I was at your wedding and my sister's getting married and blah, 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 blah. Can you come help me X, Y, or Z? Or can we rent this from you?
So the way you planned and executed your wedding, people were like,
and a lot of it, we for sure broke even on a lot, but let's say someone was renting something from me and I needed to go and take it to them and they were getting married in Lubbock, of just charging them for my time and taking the items there and back or something like that. So I for sure did stuff like that. And for friends all the time, they're having a baby shower or they're doing this, for sure, I absolutely do things for free. But it's not, my industry is not something that, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if I have. That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. For free, no. But for super, super dirt cheap, yeah, for sure. Of I'm losing money off of this deal for sure.
I think some of the first videos that I ever made were $50.
Or we walked in amongst them and we were like, can we make a video for you for free? Just for fun.
Yes.
I really want to practice this style. Or I really want to.
Yeah.
And so we've definitely done that.
So we talked about AI a little bit before we started recording. How do you implement and use AI within your business?
Every hour of every day, I'm using it for something. Even just I'm typing out an email to a vendor or to a client or a proposal of something. I'm just plugging that into AI and just bare minimum having them reword it for me.
Yes, I do that too.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. And then I'm sending it off.
What's like your number one tool that you use for that?
Oh, I use Gemini.
Gemini.
Yeah,
Oh.
I use Gemini. Yeah. Yeah. What do y'all use?
I use chat.
ChatGPT.
No, Gemini. Use Jimmy. Jimmy's so much
Jimmy?
better. Yeah.
ChatGPT
All of my
already
team,
knows
all of
me.
my team, when something goes wrong, I'm like, that was probably Jimmy. Sorry about that. That probably wasn't
That was
even.
definitely
That
not a
probably
Kendra error.
wasn't
That
even
was
me, honestly. I couldn't tell you. So.
Just overworking and underpaid.
Oh yeah. Yes.
He's stretched
Yeah.
to the max. He's
Yeah.
like, this
Jimmy
event is
my
going to kill me.
unpaid employee.
I feel like I abuse ChatGPT sometimes.
Okay, you should try Gemini.
Okay,
I
don't
think
know.
it's better.
I feel like I've spent so much time talking to ChatGPT
Okay,
He really
true.
has.
that it
Yes.
knows literally everything about me.
Yeah.
I've tried to switch to Grok,
Yeah.
and Grok is great. It just doesn't know everything about me, so that means I would have to start over.
I love
Uh-huh.
that you call him Jimmy. That's great.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I need to come up with a name.
Well,
Chad.
Chad.
Yeah. Yeah. Any kind of error, I'm like reading through it, or my team's like, it says this. I'm like, that was Jimmy. I don't know where that came
Chad.
from.
My most recent
Sorry
fail,
about that.
I'll put like my captions in there and I'm like, hey, like tweak this, make it shorter or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
And the most recent fail I had was on my daughter's 6-month like mark or whatever. It changed her middle name. It's May. And it took my spelling is incorrect. And so it changed it M-A-Y. And my mom immediately texted me and was like, you misspelled your daughter's middle name. And I was like, I was like, actually, it's Chad, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, over here. I know.
Yeah. But I use it, I mean, every day, every hour for something, even just bare minimum. I'm about to send an email or a text through it, and I'm like, I'm just going to run that through.
Have you ever used it for advice?
Yeah.
I have literally like talked to it and I'm like, hey, I have this conversation and I'm trying to like come about it in a way that's like respectful, but I'm really angry.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and it's like a therapist. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's a great point, but I
Yeah.
can see how you
For sure,
should
like how
rephrase
do
that.
I reword this to get my
Yes.
point across?
Yes, or create urgency, or like
Yes,
without
for
being a
sure.
total. Because sometimes I'm just
Yes.
like a
Yeah.
direct person,
Well,
and it
and
can be a
that's
little
like talking about the wedding world or event world. Like it is it's a tough industry.
Yeah.
It really is. And in order to be in the industry, you have to be pretty tough.
Yeah,
And
we're directing all day.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I need this.
And there's a
that.
lot of like people that get into the wedding world and they're like, I will not do weddings because everyone is so mean. And it's like the photographers, the videographers, the venue owners, the coordinators, the florists or whatever. They're like, I'm not touching that, you know, which I understand. I understand that point. But on wedding day too, it is like, I mean, you're so crunched for time. You just get in and do your job head down.
Yeah.
And like, and all the other vendors are doing the same thing. And when you're used to that and you're used to working together and you're used to like a florist and you are friends and you're like, don't put that there, put that there. And they're directing
It's not all
you
these
too.
personal
So,
shots.
yeah. So someone coming into the
Yeah.
industry and seeing that is kind of like, whoa, you didn't even say hello.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Y'all work together.
I was like,
you know
no,
your
I
job.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you know.
Yeah.
We're working.
But
sorry.
but on to their credit, like to me, you can say everything that you need to say nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
for
don't
sure.
have to be, you know, a B word
Yeah.
to
For sure.
in order to communicate, in order for things to happen that you need to happen. And so I mean they have a point. But again, you're still needing to communicate harsh things that have a time crunch.
Yeah.
But throwing it into letting Jimmy do that for you, you know, of like, how do I reword this and say this better? And a lot of it is just communicating like, hey, bride, I know your dream idea is to have this ceremony outside.
But we're not doing.
I'm about to show you this torrential storm that is headed your way.
Yeah. No, these are such real things.
We have to move it now. You know, like you don't have a choice. Like this is what's happening, but you have to do that, and it still needs to be their choice because it's their wedding and they paid for it.
Yeah, they're paying for
and
you.
if they want to get it, if they want to get rained on, they can. But I know every single vendor is going to
cry.
die. They're literally,
Great.
and all 200 of their guests are going to hate it. And
So,
I'm like, as a planner, I'm
thinking
like,
of them.
I can't let that happen.
For sure.
You know?
For
And so, but
sure.
how do I get them for it to be their decision and for them to still make the decision that they need to make, but then ultimately be like, but if you want to get torrential rain and we want to get poured on, it is your decision. Because it is. It's their money.
Has it ever
You know?
happened? Have a wedding
Have-
in rain?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So crazy thing about Abilene is that if you have a wedding of over 200 people, almost every single venue in town, you are doing something outside. Even if you're flipping ceremony to reception, your guests are going to have to be outside for that. Or the ceremony is outside, or cocktail hour is outside, or the reception is outside. Something is going to be outside. But in Abilene, typically, it is it's raining, the ceremony is supposed to be starting. We have someone in the parking lot with umbrellas saying, hey, we're actually just going to wait for this storm to pass, and then we're going to start.
No.
And so a lot of times it's
You're like
yeah. A lot of times
No.
it's like you're just waiting like maybe 20 minutes for the rain to pass because it rarely rains all day here. And so, but for sure have been rained on. Or right after the ceremony, it starts pouring down rain. So we lose some of our guests because a lot of things are still outside. That's why it's important to cut down on your guest list and truly, whatever your venue is, maybe, and I'm not saying like don't book a certain venue, just have smaller guest count.
Yeah.
So that way, no matter what happens, you're ensuring that your day is going to be okay. Like if all of your guests cannot fit inside, if your ceremony and your reception cannot fit inside with your current guest count, you have to cut down your guest count.
I think it's good too, like when you think about it, okay, personally, if I have 300 people come to my wedding, I'm like, you're either like a really far acquaintance or like really when you think about, okay, if
Yeah.
I'm inviting these people, like if it does rain, they love me and we're going to have fun through it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those kind of
Yes.
people.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It helps
And
eliminate
it is
that.
okay of like, hey, if it rains, what's going to happen? And if the bride looks me dead in the eyes and says, we're going to get wet, then I'm like, awesome.
Okay, we're doing
then
this.
we can do this.
We're going to embrace
But
it.
if your thing is like, well, we're going to have a backup plan. We're going to have to move everything over here. I'm like, then you need to cut down your guest count.
That's a good
You
piece
know?
of advice.
And
good.
then there is a little bit of a science to it too. So there's a book that Priya Parker wrote called The Art of Gathering, and she talks about guest count numbers and how it changes your event no matter what. No matter, like, your event could be at this like swanky homey place, and it could be big enough, and it could have X, Y, or Z, all of these things, like catering to a super intimate experience. But if you have 300 people there is no way for you to have that experience because it's a science.
Yeah.
And so it talks about guest count, and anything over 150 people, you get into this like, so anything 150 and down, you can have this like more intimate experience. But there's something that happens when you have over 150 people, 200, 250, 300 people, that you go into in the event world what we call a conference. So if you want to have a conference and it be your wedding, that is okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have lots of conferences here in Abilene that are weddings, but there's no way for you to get around that feel.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. Your grandma could make every single pie. And it is still going to feel like a conference if you have 300 people at your wedding.
Yeah.
There's no way to avoid that. And it's just like a science. And it's in that book, which is an amazing book. Everybody should read that book.
I know. Now I'm wanting
Yes,
to read.
it's
And
called
I don't
The Art of
even
Gathering.
post that much.
Okay, so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of books, I know at least for me, entrepreneurs read books and listen to podcasts
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite ones that you've listened to or read? Do you listen to podcasts very much?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
What are some of the most influential ones that you've listened to?
That is a great question.
I'm not
Yeah.
a big reader, so
Yeah.
I'm like, just
I
tell
am
me
a
what
big
you're
reader.
learning, and
so
I'm like,
I read a
not
lot.
one.
I love like, I think a lot of my stuff isn't, although I do love The Art of Gathering as far as an event book by Priya Parker. That's an amazing book. Other stuff is more just like business, entrepreneurship, like even just like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Maybe Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a great book. I'm trying to think. I love like I tell my dad all the time that I think I married Dave Ramsey. But I like Dave Ramsey. Like I like all of his stuff. I listen to all of his stuff. What is his name? John, the guy that does a lot of stuff with Dave Ramsey. John somebody. His name might not
Is he
even
on
be
the Dave
John.
Ramsey show?
Yeah, he's on the Dave
Darren
Ramsey
would
show
like
a lot.
me to listen to Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Dave's cool.
He's not the end all be all, but
Maybe
yeah.
he'll be on the pod one day. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I love it.
Sit here and audit my wife.
But he's a counselor.
Yeah.
But he kind of
It's like Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil for finances.
But he's
Wow.
good.
On fire today.
Um
On fire.
And then I love Rich Dad Poor Dad. Man, I'm gonna like go home today and be like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite book, and I didn't even mention it. I read a lot, but I read a lot for pleasure. So like,
Yeah.
I read to escape. I'm like, my real world is Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, like
Yeah.
that's how I feel. Like
Yeah.
my real world is so like, you know, it's like we're running multiple businesses, raising a family. I have 2 little kids, and so I definitely read to kind of escape.
That's a healthy thing
yeah.
to escape with.
Yeah.
Some people don't have healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I like to read a lot of kind of like what you said, like self-development, just like personal growth stuff, and a lot of spiritual
Yeah.
growth stuff too, just because it's something different from the day to day.
Yeah, me too.
Then there's like a business book that'll come
Yeah,
around
absolutely.
and completely change my trajectory of my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, I always like to ask
Yeah,
those kinds
yes.
of questions. Hopefully it's the Brand Builders podcast if you're listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can people find you online?
Yeah. I do a lot of social media and Pinterest. I don't know if you have people coming on here saying Pinterest.
No.
Only
But
Kate.
it's so important.
Pinterest. It's bomb.
I didn't even know you could post like your real videos and stuff on there.
Yeah,
Like I'm thinking like Instagram reels, but like
Yeah.
I've been seeing that recently.
It is wild to me because, like, I'll have brides that don't even follow me on social media, and I go to their Pinterest board, and it's
they
my
have-
weddings
Wow.
that they have pinned.
That's okay.
And they look at it, and they might not even know it.
yeah.
But it's like I pull that up, and I'm like, look at who posted that, and they're like, "That's you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
So
So is it all under Kendra Duke Designs?
My website, Kendra Duke Design, Instagram, Pinterest.
that just happened to me with a friend. She was like, I really want you to paint a Bible for me, and sent me an inspo. And it's my friend that paints Bibles in Comanche. And I was like, so I texted my friend. I was like, you're going to flip. I was like, you are the inspiration. I was like, can you just paint it? So, but it's a really cool thing that I think we don't think about for creatives.
Yeah, so go check Kendra out on all the things,
Yeah.
Pinterest, Instagram.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
We'll see you guys
it.
in the next one.